All right, what's up, everybody? Bootsy Greenwood here. We're talking about the Kybalion, the Kybalion, the Kybalion. This old book that was written around the 1900s by three anonymous Masons, and it has all the principles or laws that govern nature, supposedly, right? So the first video we talked about the all. The all is mind. The all is infinity. Everything that exists is within this ever expanding, infinite, crazy world, this dream world, metaphysical. I like metaphysical. Let's go with that. It's all within there. And so we're just tuning in to that to bring it into the material space. Or the third dimension. Everything starts out as a thought. Thoughts first, then the thing. But then we go to the second, which is correspondence. The principle of correspondence is the second principle, and this one's really important. It's as above, so below. As below, so above. Okay, from the Department of Redundancy Department. What does this mean? This means the world is like a mirror, okay? Correspondence. The way things work in the lower realm or in the material world, the same rules apply in the metaphysical. So the rules are the same. There's no difference between higher order, lower order, other than, I guess, its quality or where it falls in on the spectrum, right? So it could be over here, it could be over there, and we're going to get to duality and degree next, which is also kind of confusing, but the idea is that however it works, it works. It works on this plane as it does on the metaphysical, right? So in the Bible, they say a lot, as in heaven, so it is in the earth, okay? Everything's reflected from this meta higher perspective and down, right? So what is this talking about? Really, it's talking about attention and projection and projecting what is higher into the lower planes to create order, right? Like the idea of this book is to sort of transmute or to do alchemy, which means that you would take something that was lead and turn it into gold. Well, this is a metaphor for taking maybe negative emotions, negative situations, etc., and turning them into positive or more favorable circumstances, right? So this is something that anyone can learn to do, and it has a lot to do with choosing, with quantum physics, with understanding what the nature of reality is, and that as above, so below. So the way you reflect and project here in this dimension is reflected and projected back and forth to you from the other world, the metaphysical, the bigger world, where the all is, right? The mind. So the universal mind, and then you have your little microscopic mind in relation to it. Now the world is going to basically be governed by the same rules that you believe in. Everything that you choose is going to be reflected back to you. As above, so below. As below, so above. So whatever you project, you're projecting, and it's being reflected back to you. If you believe that the world is good and it will take care of you, and it's a place of love, then it becomes that. Just naturally. It starts to work in that order. If you believe the world is a very dangerous place, it's evil, and it's out to get you and you're a victim, well, guess what? That's going to be true for you. It's all based on, confirmation bias, right? So as above, so below. All the thinking, all the projecting, all the ideas that you have about the world, what you really believe, you're projecting it onto people, onto the world around you, and that is going to be reflected back to you. I mean, if you're just simply, and I don't mean to get too woo-woo about this either, right? Like I really want to avoid that. But let's think about this in a very simple way. You're walking down the street and there's another person walking down the street. If you put your head down and ignore them and give a weird energy or vibe or emotion or whatever the hell you want to call that to them, how are they going to respond to you? That reflection is a reflection of what you're projecting. Now, I'm not saying that crazy random shit doesn't just happen, because we're going to get into that when we talk about the half-truth paradox. That's the other part of this picture that's really interesting, and we'll get into that with duality, where it's not determinism and it's not free will that's governing this. There are tons of causes and effects, which is another one of these laws, and they're all reflected in each other, that have built up over time. And then now all of a sudden that's created this situation that you find yourself in. And now this situation is created. And now you do decide with your own free will how to respond to this situation. But everything that has been painted around you, the landscape, all of that is influenced by hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years of causes that have added up and added up and added up. And now here you are, you find yourself here, and you have a situation presented before you, and you can choose, right, how to navigate that situation, what to do next, right? It's like gravity's a thing. I choose whether or not I jump, right? So they're both true in that regard. As above, so below. As below, so above. Whatever it is that you project is going to be reflected toward you. And the laws, the way they work in the material realm, are the same. So here's an example of that. Intention in the dream world. If you go into a dream and you want to fly and you become aware that you're dreaming, boom, you can do that. That power, that intention, is exactly the same in the dream world as it is in the physical world. So when you're walking down the street and you feel somebody like walking through you basically, and you get out of their way, that's intention. That's what that is. And if we can develop that or learn it or feel it in a dream, then we can identify that emotion, and like emotion and action mixed kind of. It's a very interesting thing. Fighters, through my experience, have been very, very good masters of wielding intent. I have a friend who's incredible at it. He just knows how to move, and the way he moves, other people, they react to it, and it's interesting to watch. But yeah, I don't want to get too far off. Correspondence, as above, so below, right? The world reflects what you project. The world is a mirror, and it's going to prove to you through confirmation bias, time and time again, whatever it is that you believe about the world, okay? Every time and time again, because whenever we convince ourselves of something, that's all we see. Now all of a sudden, there's a part of our brain that always picks up on that. So we want to be very careful about what beliefs that we're choosing, because they are ultimately ours to choose. So we're learning to create with the Kybalion. That is the second principle, the principle of correspondence, as above, so below. Everything's a fractal, right? It's reflected smaller and smaller and smaller, down and down and down till infinity. And it's all reflecting the same truths, always, always, always. So that's it for correspondence. I know it's out there. Hang with me. We're going to get some clarity on this stuff. Thanks, guys. Check me out on Gumroad and Patreon.